In this podcast episode, Ryan Zink, a congressional candidate from Texas and a January 6th defendant, shares his harrowing experience with the U.S. justice system, the political and personal aftermath of his arrest, and his ongoing fight to represent West Texas. He recounts what led him to Washington, D.C. on January 6th, the chaotic events he witnessed, his arrest and subsequent treatment in custody, and his views on political corruption, media bias, and the importance of faith. Ryan also outlines his campaign platform and the challenges of running for office under intense scrutiny and opposition. Ryan's journey to the Capitol began while on a break from college, where he was studying media strategy and public relations. After being hit by a drunk driver and dealing with insurance issues, he moved to Arizona to assist his father's congressional campaign. His father, also a political candidate, encouraged Ryan to accompany him to Washington, D.C., to gather media footage during the January 6 rally, believing it would provide positive B-roll for the campaign. Initially hesitant, Ryan agreed, seeing it as a politically significant moment and a chance to help his father while accessing free medical treatment. Despite his limited political involvement at the time, Ryan was motivated by concerns over election integrity and a growing distrust of political elites. Ryan describes arriving in D.C. on January 5th and witnessing thousands of people gathering early near the Capitol and the Washington Monument. He was present primarily as a journalist, filming the events with his camera and capturing interactions with fellow protesters and Capitol Police. Ryan never entered the Capitol building. He remained on the East Porch, where he observed violent acts initiated by individuals he later identified as Antifa provocateurs disguised among the crowd. He recounts an incident where a man dressed in black smashed windows, which Ryan captured on video. Police officers even deputized him temporarily to document events and assist during confrontations with aggressive protesters. Ryan emphasizes the chaotic nature of the day, admitting that in the moment, he could not fully understand what was happening inside the Capitol. He witnessed the escalation firsthand, including hearing gunshots and witnessing police injuries. Shortly after January 6, Ryan was taken by surprise when federal agents raided his home in Texas in the early morning using a battering ram. He was sleeping and awoke to the violent destruction of his front door and was met with armed agents demanding his surrender. Ryan recounts being on edge, armed with an AR-15, ready to defend himself due to the aggressive police tactics used during the raid. Federal agents surrounded his home, blocked all exits, and flashbanged his dogs repeatedly, causing lasting trauma to his pets. Ryan was detained barefoot in freezing temperatures for an extended period before being taken into custody. His home was extensively damaged, and he reported missing valuables, including rare coins and cash, alleging theft by federal agents. Ryan details the brutal and inhumane conditions he experienced while incarcerated. He was subjected to diesel therapy, a tactic where detainees are repeatedly transferred between facilities to disorient and isolate them. During transport, he was shackled with handcuffs and shackles, confined for hours without breaks. At various detention centers, he was placed in moldy, unsanitary cells with urine and feces on the floor, denied basic necessities like soap, clean food, and adequate medical care. Ryan also describes deliberate attempts on his life by prison staff, including poisoning his food with bleach and raw chicken placed in his water line. Despite pleas for medical attention and grievances, his requests were ignored. He lost significant weight and suffered physical and psychological trauma. His faith in Jesus Christ was the only source of comfort through these ordeals. Ryan was charged with felony obstruction and misdemeanors related to January 6th, but maintains his innocence regarding any criminal activity inside the Capitol. He highlights numerous Brady violations, with prosecutors withholding crucial evidence from his defense and officials who testified against him committing perjury. Eventually, Ryan was convicted only on misdemeanor charges, with his felony overturned by the Supreme Court. He was pardoned and had his gun rights restored. Despite this, the process consumed years of his life, costing him financially and emotionally. Ryan criticized the biased judicial system, including the behavior of the presiding judge, whom he accused of political motivations and courtroom unfairness. Jury selection also reflected bias, with jurors expressing preconceived notions of guilt. The repercussions of Ryan's arrest and imprisonment deeply affected his family life. He revealed that he and his wife endured 2 miscarriages during the ordeal, attributing the strain and stress to the government's actions against him. He shared his fears and the emotional toll the process took on his marriage and children. Ryan and his wife have a young daughter and another child on the way, which motivates his continued political engagement. The fear instilled by threats, home invasions, and public vilification extended beyond Ryan to his loved ones. Ryan describes his ostracization from mainstream politics and lack of support from many Republican leaders in Texas. While some, like Speaker Dustin Burrows and former Congressman George Santos, supported him, others, including Congressman Jody Arrington, refused to assist or even return calls. He experienced targeted harassment, including death threats and attacks on his family property. Ryan also critiques mainstream media's coverage of January 6, accusing outlets of deliberate misinformation and character assassination. He praises alternative media sources and figures who have offered fair coverage of his story. Ryan laments the lack of accountability for those who allegedly instigated violence during the Capitol events and contrasts their fates with the harsh treatment of January 6 defendants like himself. A significant challenge Ryan faces is censorship on major social media platforms. His official congressional Facebook page was removed on grounds of disingenuous behavior after posting content opposing abortion, which he firmly considers murder. Ryan sees this as part of a broader effort by tech giants like Meta to suppress conservative and pro-life voices. Lacking appeal options, he has turned to platforms like X, formerly Twitter, and TikTok to reach supporters and communicate his message. The manipulation and control over social media narratives concern him deeply, especially regarding surveillance practices and AI technology used to monitor and target political activists. Ryan Zink is running to represent Texas's 19th congressional district with a mission to protect the values of faith, family, freedom, and honest representation of West Texas. His campaign focuses on returning power to the people, fiscal responsibility, opposing expansive foreign aid, and promoting transparency around issues like environmental policies and chemical spraying. He advocates for Second Amendment rights, biblical principles as foundational to U.S. governance, and reforming what he perceives as a corrupt and broken political system. Ryan emphasizes his resilience, asserting that his experience facing and overcoming government persecution uniquely qualifies him to fight for his constituents. The Republican primary for Ryan's district includes 7 candidates with diverse backgrounds, including experienced lobbyists, local officials, and veterans. Ryan distinguishes himself through his direct experience with the January 6 prosecution and incarceration, viewing it as a form of political vetting that others have not undergone. He critiques other candidates' positions on issues like farm subsidies, government spending, and social policy. Ryan also notes the advanced age of some competitors, questioning whether long-term effectiveness is achievable. The district heavily leans Republican, making the primary the critical battleground for electoral success. Throughout the interview, Ryan underscores the importance of his Christian faith, which he credits with sustaining him through the darkest times of his incarceration and legal battles. He believes America's founding documents are intertwined with biblical principles and that restoration of national integrity depends on reclaiming those values. Ryan encourages others to carry both a Bible and a gun as essential tools to protect their rights and their souls. His faith also shapes his stance on social issues, particularly his strong opposition to abortion and conviction that spiritual warfare is a defining battle for the country's future. Ryan acknowledges the obstacles he faces, from political opposition, media hostility, and technological censorship, to threats against his safety and that of his family. Nevertheless, he is determined to continue raising awareness and building support through grassroots efforts, speaking engagements, and digital platforms that allow uncensored communication. He appeals directly to voters who share his values to support his campaign financially and morally, hoping to restore the district's voice in Congress and to fight corruption from within the system he believes was created by America's founders.